Absolutely. I didn't realize that Belmont went out that far.
Yeah. Well, so our zip code is technically Charlotte, but like if we go grocery shopping, we're like Harris Teeter and Belmont, like everything's closest is Belmont. So
good deal.
Yeah.
So is Harris Teeter your place?
Yeah. Harris Teeter, Walmart, you know.
So what was it up north? What was your grocery store of choice up there? Jewel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you heard of it?
Never heard of Jewel. I've heard of that Jewel.
No, it's not like that. No.
Hey, welcome to the next edition of the Next Step Podcast. This is number 21. This is the episode where we get legal. And we are thrilled to have with us today Elise Nelson, whose husband Austin also attends our church. Yep. And we're going to get to know her. And the goal of this podcast is for you to learn how other people are taking their next steps in their journey with Christ. And they're people that are just like you, and they're people that are just like me. But grateful to have you with us today.
Thank you for having me. Fantastic. Happy to be here.
Glad to have you. So you migrated over from Mint Hill today?
Yes, I came straight from work. So
fantastic. I mean, she's going the distance today.
Yep.
So tell us about the work you do.
So I'm in the insurance industry. I work for an independent insurance agency in Mint Hill. So we handle our clients' auto, home, renters, life. We even do commercial insurance. So anything business related, we can write that as well.
Cool. That's awesome. So if you're looking for somebody that's an independent, you need to go see Elise. You know, these other companies, they have their own kind of rates. She could shop the rates for you.
Yes.
Anyway, so tell us about you, where you from and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I'm from originally Chicago, a suburb of Chicago, about 45 minutes outside of the city.
Or southeast or west?
Oh, like southwest a little bit. Yeah. So yeah, my husband and I are both from the same hometown. We went to the same high school, but didn't know each other in high school. We met my senior year. So that's kind of funny. But yeah, so we moved here 2021, just kind of looking, you know, for better weather, lower taxes. Yeah. So we just moved, didn't know a single person here, came just a couple times before we closed on our house just to meet with our builder and whatnot. But yeah, kind of just went in blind.
So you came down here. The one thing you knew you had was a job in a house, right?
Yes. So thankfully, my husband and I were both able to transfer with our jobs for like moving. So we didn't have to like look for a new job. But yeah, the house, I mean, we came down, met with a builder one time, and then my dad and I came back for the pre-drywall walkthrough, and Austin didn't even see the house again until we were closing on it. So wow. Yeah.
It was cool. So he left the details to you.
Yes, pretty much.
Good stuff. But he works for Discount Tire, right?
Yes. He has his own Discount Tire store here in Charlotte. So he's a manager off of South Tryon.
Fantastic. We got our last set of tires at Discount Tire.
Awesome.
My wife's vehicle. So we appreciate it. We're trying to keep the family in business and stuff.
Love it.
So are you glad you moved down here?
Yeah, we love it. The people here are way nicer, which was kind of
way nicer.
It was hard to receive at first. Like I was like, do they actually hate us? Like, are they being fake nice? Yeah, literally, because you just don't get that in Chicago. But yeah, the weather has been great, and we've met some of our best friends here just in the few years we've been here so far. So it's been good. That's cool. So you've really made the most of it too. Yeah. So you really kind of dove in with both feet and doing those kinds of things. Yeah. So tell us about, how did you find out about us? How did you pick the Pointe? So actually, we found the Pointe during COVID because we moved 2021, and it was the first church that we tried, and it just kind of stuck. Like we fell in love from the first time we watched, and then eventually we were able to come back in and meet in person and everything. And yeah, from the very first service we attended, we never like looked back or tried another church. So it stuck right away, which was. We're honored you did, because you not just come to sit and watch, you really come to dive in and to get involved. What was the first step that you took once you came and you decided, okay, we found the place and we're going to stay here? What was the first thing you did? So it gets a little blurry now because I feel like I do so much, but or it could be the second thing. I know. Okay, for sure. Like I would go to like the third Thursdays, and that's where I met like Brad and like some of the other just like church attendees that were around my age. And gained some friendships from that. And then from there, I can't remember if I signed up for a group or if I did Kids Point next. But definitely have been in like lots of groups, 3 groups at once at one point.
Really?
Yeah.
You really did want to get involved.
Yeah. I mean, I just felt like church was the easiest way to like make friends that were like equally yoked, you know, level headed and the right kind of mindset, as Austin and I. So, you know, it's hard when you're not at that like school age, you're not in college or anything anymore, but you're, you don't have kids yet. So it's just kind of hard. I feel like I'm at that weird age where it's hard to make friends. I don't have mom friends and I don't have school friends anymore. So
right.
Church just became our outlet to make friends, and we just, you know, kept getting asked to do other things. So we would say yes. Like
that's cool.
Yeah.
So Third Thursday is kind of a mission
Yes.
that we have to reach people that are younger adults and they're trying to just learn about people in the community and that kind of thing. So then you got involved in the group around Third Thursday too?
Yes. So I was in that, and then
So they meet every week, but Third Thursday is just kind of different.
yes. Yep. So, and then I joined Alex Little's, women's group.
Okay.
And then my husband and I, we joined, Walter and Lacey Broadhurst's couples group.
Cool.
So those were like our first couple of groups that we plugged in, and then, just met like Brittany and Sloan. And then I plugged in to, we did like a book club group with them. And then, I've been.
So that's cool. Tell us about how you did that. I heard about this. Tell us how that group went. So you've been in a group with other 20-somethings.
Yes.
You've been in a married group for a while.
Yes.
Then you did this book club thing. So tell us about that.
Yeah. So the book club, it was just like a way to meet with a group, but not physically have to meet every week. So like we just scheduled a few things throughout like the semester of the group where we would like go to lunch or, you know, go to breakfast, just different things throughout the term, but we didn't physically meet every week. We rather just would schedule what we were going to read, and then we would do some discussion questions over text.
How cool.
Yeah. So it was a way to like plug in without having to like make everybody's schedules line up, which I know sometimes can be hard. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
So the great thing about reading something and texting is you can do it anytime you want to.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So it just worked because then, you know, we could make it work for everybody who was interested in reading the book that we studied. So yeah. And then from that, that's where the beach trip came in. So
yeah. So you decided to end it up by spending a whole weekend together.
Yep. So we went down to Myrtle Beach. We actually went and saw a speaker. We read a Lisa Turker's book. So we went and saw her. And that was pretty cool. So yeah, we just got like an Airbnb and had a girls' weekend at the beach.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And to me, that's what small groups are all about. And just the creativity that you guys use to make that possible.
Yeah.
You text one another, then you meet every once in a while to eat. Then you, hey, let's just go do this beach thing, and we'll meet the author of the person we've been reading about.
Yeah, it was definitely a good time.
How creative. That's really cool. And so then from that, so you did Lacey and Walter's group for a while, and you did the, working with Third Thursdays and going with other 20-somethings.
Yep.
And you've also had another group of your own. Is that correct?
Yes. So now my husband and I, we lead a group. So we started, I think it was like last winter when that season of groups kicked off.
Right.
We were the couple that was leading the 20s and 30s group. And our couples, like they didn't want to stop meeting. So we've been meeting. We met all through the summer. Like we had a Christmas party. Like we've just continued to get together with them every week. And like I can truly say that like the 6 couples from that have become some of our best friends.
That is really cool.
Yeah. So
what an awesome kind of thing. And it's great to be able to do life together for a while and share the differences and think. Did any other people in your group have experiences like they came from Chicago or New York or anywhere? The most of them from around here?
Most of them are from around here. Okay. There was one couple, I was so shocked they signed up because it was like their first weekend attending the Pointe was when groups were talked about. So I give them so much credit for like signing up. Cause I know that has to take like a lot of guts to just like go out on a whim. Like not only are you trying a new church, but you're signing up for a small group. So it had to be intimidating, but.
Did they get the courage award from y'all? So you came once and then joined, then they came and then joined a group.
Yeah. I mean, they're super involved now. I
cool.
see like the wife from the group, Laura, she's in Kids Point. So like they've definitely, I would say, found their church home, which makes like me happy. Like I hope that we help them feel comfortable. Just
absolutely. That's just magical to me as I think about what group life does, and you're in circles and you get to do life together, and maybe you're going through difficult times at the same time, or maybe somebody's going through a good time and somebody's going through a bad time, and you can kind of lift one another up.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really what the Christian life is all about from my perspective. And we love to see people sit in rows, and it's great to have people there, and that's a great kind of starting point. But mean, getting in a circle with other people, whether it's this way, virtually via text like you did, or sitting down like we are in a circle right now is all
Right.
it's really cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, and where do you serve in the life of the church?
So I'm with the 4th and 5th grade girls every Sunday, second service. They're my mini besties. So yeah, shout out to the 4th and 5th grade girls. Yeah.
That's cool.
So I'm with them
My granddaughter's
Sunday.
in there sometimes.
Yes, Ella. She's sweet. Yes,
Thank
she's
you.
adorable. But
We're going to keep her.
yeah, all of them. They all have a special place in my heart. And then I went to VBS with them a few weeks ago. So that was fun. And then, yeah, we went to camp overnight, which was fun for a weekend or so. Yeah, we went away to camp. So that was cool, just to like get closer with the girls. And, I really think that it helped foster some relationships and everything, especially with the 5th graders that are now on to 6th grade. Hopefully they have some friendships that they can take with them. I know middle school can be tough. So
Absolutely.
it's cool to see that.
Gosh, the only person I know that really loved middle school was my wife, Andrea. She said she'd love to go back to middle school. It was some of the best time of her life. Almost everybody else I talked to is like, middle school. I was glad when I got through middle school.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you so much for preparing them to be in that place. And it's great to be able to walk back through the doors on the weekends and look back to somebody like you that's been an image they look up to and somebody that they really appreciate.
Yeah. No, it's been awesome. It's probably one of my favorite things. It's a highlight. I'm in a group chat with some of them, so I think that they like me a lot. I made it to
That's
that.
awesome.
So
that's really cool. So tell us something about about your story and how you came to Christ. How old were you and when did that happen? And that kind of stuff.
I've always been growing up, I was always in the church. My dad, when I was real little, played in our church band. So we've always attended church. It's always just been a part of our weekend routine. My parents, though, they got divorced when I was 7.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And that made kind of an awkward dynamic just in the church, I know with my dad serving and then my mom. So, but they did a good job. They would always attend the same church together, services for me, on holidays and important services like that. But I don't know, I just feel it's kind of funny because Austin and I, we have a lot of parallels. Not only were we from the same hometown and went to the same high school, but we went to a lot of the same churches growing up, but our paths never crossed. So it's the craziest thing. He was always one step ahead. So we went to one church and then he would move on to the next. And then we were it was crazy looking back. But I feel moving to Charlotte, the Pointe really became our church. Whereas previously the churches we attended, it was great. People knew our name, but it was because of our parents. Even when we got married, we had started attending our own church as a married couple that was close to our apartment. But we would always go back to our parents' churches for those holiday services and stuff. So I didn't feel we got to get as plugged in as we wanted to.
Right.
And then sometimes it would just be a regular Sunday and our parents would be let's all go to church together. So, we were constantly pulled back, which was fine. We still had an active faith, but like I said, I just didn't feel as plugged in or like it was my church as I do at the Pointe. I think it's awesome. I'm sure Austin would say the same, but he's a little more shy than me. But just when we walk in, people knowing our names and being happy to see us and everything, it's such a great feeling. Especially I remember when the girls in Kids Point started remembering my name, that was huge to me because I was just oh, they know I'm here every week. Cause sometimes it's easy, to feel oh, they're just here for their friends or the craft or whatever.
That speaks a lot about your ability as a leader to connect with them.
Yeah. So that's been one of my favorite things. I just think it's awesome. When they were can we FaceTime? I'm oh my gosh, you guys like me that much? So it always makes me smile just to hear, them remember me or things that I've said to them, in weeks prior to the week that we're in. So that's been cool. And then, I took the step of getting baptized at the Pointe, which was a big thing for me.
Going public with your faith, that was awesome.
Yeah. So I feel like I said, I always had faith growing up and everything, but I was always nervous. I'm sure a lot of people can say it's intimidating to get up there in front of all those people. And even though my husband, Austin, is the shy one, he had done that. So it was something that he was always constantly pushing me, like, Elise, you need to do it. You need to do it. And like, I can't even tell you, like, when I just like decided it was something I wanted to do, it was like, you're not scared when you're up there. Like it all goes away. Like, so it was truly like an amazing experience and just like a moment where you truly just feel like God's presence, and it was awesome. So, and that helped solidify like the Pointe being our church home too. So
That is so cool.
Yeah.
You really were baptized into the experience.
Yeah.
And it is such an honor to baptize people, because some people come at a different part of their journey. For some people, it happens when they're very young. Sometimes it happens when they're in high school or college or whatever. But it seems to me like you really wanted to make sure that this was the thing you wanted to do before you went public with your faith.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I just think too, like being in Kids Point, like it was tugging at my heart too. Like I wanted those girls to see that like I've gone public with my faith, you know, that it doesn't matter what your friends in your class think or whatnot. Like your faith is forever and it is cool. And like all these girls here will be your friends regardless. So
how cool is that?
Yeah.
So you make a couple points there. One is that you do it because Jesus did it. He commanded us to do it. It's the way we show publicly.
Yeah.
But also you cared about those people that you were mentoring who were looking to you, and you're looking to those sets of eyes, and you want to say, I want to be a good example to them.
Yeah.
Be a good example is not the reason to do it, but it's a great ancillary kind of part of it.
Yeah, definitely. Right? Yeah. That was something. Cause I don't know. I felt like a little bit of a self-conviction, knowing I was leading and that I hadn't, like I'm preaching like, oh yeah, getting baptized is awesome. And I hadn't done it yet myself. So that was something, you know, I felt pulled to do. And like I said, like the Pointe was my first like church home. That wasn't my parents' church home. That became my church home. So it felt special and like the right place.
That's
to do
cool. So there's a point to this. I wanted to ask you, what are some of the names of the churches you went to, either when you're growing up or when you and Austin started going together?
Yeah. So originally Crossroads, that was like the first church that I can remember.
Okay.
And that was a non-denominational church back home. And we actually met like in high school, and then we watched them like go into like building their own campus and everything. So that was cool. And then we attended Christ Community for like the longest time that I can remember, like growing up. And that's where like I met some of my best friends, like even still to this day. I went to church camp. So I have those memories that I was making with my girls. And then, so that carried me like all the way through high school and college. And then when Austin and I got married, we started attending Community Christian Church.
Okay.
So yeah, so those are like the three big ones I would say.
So here's the point.
My upbringing.
If y'all are out there and you had a point in her life at Christ Community or Crossroads or Christ
or Community Christian,
Christian, thank you for getting her ready and sending her down here so that we could help her to take her next steps and Austin's on their journey with Jesus.
Yeah.
So where did you go to high school? You said you went to the same high school.
Yeah. So we went to Oswego High School.
Oswego. Okay.
It's a small little, I mean, it's not that small. There's like 35,000 people, but it feels like a small town. It's like the biggest small town. In Oswego, it's just, there's two high schools there now. Initially, like when I was growing up, there was only one. And then by my freshman year, there was another. So
it's not like Belmont and Mount Holly together, right?
No.
Like East Gaston and South Point, two high schools.
Yeah. No, it's, there was two just for Oswego. So the town had grown just in the time that I was there. But yeah, Austin was actually a senior when I was a freshman.
Okay.
So we didn't know each other, but yeah, it goes back to like God's timing. Like it was just so crazy looking back that like we literally went to the same churches growing up and we went to the same high school, but like our paths didn't cross until exactly like the right time. So
was it in the same town, Oswego? Did you meet there?
Yeah, we met in our hometown actually at Red Robin. So
Red Robin. I love it.
So
were you eating or serving or
I
what?
was serving, he was eating. So he actually used like to work there too, right when I had started. That was like my first job out of high school. And I was working one night. He was in like visiting his old friends that like had still worked there because he had just started with Discount Tire. And it was so funny because he had heard me bugging the busboy about a shake. I'm like, can you tell the bartender to make me a shake? And Austin just heard me say it in passing. And he was like, hey, what kind of shake did you want? Like, I'll get you one. And And I got so nervous because I thought he was cute.
Yeah.
I said cookies and cream and I hate Oreos.
Okay.
So he got me a milkshake that I didn't even end up drinking because I was like, why did I say cookies and cream? I don't know. Like it was the first thing that came to my head.
That was nice of him to do
Yes,
that. So
yeah,
what
it
would you
was.
have ordered? What would have been your favorite?
I would just get a chocolate shake or something, but I don't know why. Like I just froze up when he asked me. It was not a question I was expecting. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
The first thing he does is serve you.
yes. Yep.
That is so cool.
Yeah. So,
So after you left high school, how long was this after you'd been out of high school? Did you go to college?
Yes, I did go to college. So we met, actually, I was like, so I graduated a semester early. So halfway through, like in December of my senior year. But so we met actually March. So just after, like a few months after I was done with high school, but I didn't start college until like that following fall. Okay. And yeah, I went to North Central, which is kind of like a Belmont Abbey, but it's a smaller college in a suburb of Chicago. I studied digital marketing. So yeah, anything you can click on, I like to say. So,
Good.
you know, social media, web design, all that.
Awesome.
Fun stuff. Yeah.
So do you use any of that in your job? No?
Yeah, I feel like you can use that in everything, you know, just like in the way you send emails. Like I feel like there's a way to like, you know, make them look more appealing, you know, and then same thing with like, obviously there's web design for our company's website. Social media is like a big outlet. I feel like that you can utilize a lot now. So just content planning and all of that. But the reason I didn't end up going specifically into that, I had a couple internships in college for digital marketing, and I was honestly so bored because there was no talking.
Oh, really?
Like, so that like me, I'm such a people person that I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go crazy just like sitting at my desk all day.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's what led me to insurance. I was just like, it's always different. Everybody's situation is different. I'm constantly talking to different people. So I'm always on my toes.
That's cool. So in your job, you're helping people to get insurance solutions for the things in their lives, whether it's their home or their car or whatever. Do you ever feel like you actually are something of a minister to those people? You're helping them to make wise choices.
Yeah, definitely. We always like to use like the word advisory. Like we'll always advise, especially with like first time home buyers. A lot of the times they don't understand all those line items and their coverages. So just like explaining those things and, you know, acting as like a friend in those situations, not necessarily like just the agent, like saying, well, like for my policy, like this is the decision I made, just so you're like giving them a suggestion and not just saying, just buy this one, like blindly, you know? So I always try to take that approach.
I think that's great. And I think most people don't realize or don't stop to realize that you spend 8 to 10 hours a day, probably on average at a job throughout your lifetime. And so Jesus is in you. Yeah. And you've shown the world you belong to Jesus. So you ultimately want to do business in a way that's going to honor him.
Yes.
Right.
Definitely.
That's cool. So thanks for doing that. And I can vouch for the guys at Discount Tire. I really like their business model because you can definitely tell it's kind of like first come, first served, but everybody's going to be served with excellence and they're going to take care of you and not try to sell you something that you don't really want, but take care of every issue you've had. I've had a really good experience with them.
Awesome. Glad to hear it.
That's cool. So you guys live in Mount Holly?
So we live just on the border of Belmont. So we're like technically Charlotte. We're kind of by the Whitewater Center. So
cool,
right over there. Yeah.
Absolutely. I didn't realize that Belmont went out that far.
Yeah. Well, so our zip code is technically Charlotte, but like if we go grocery shopping, we're like Harris Teeter and Belmont, like everything's closest is Belmont. So
good deal.
Yeah.
So is Harris Teeter your place?
Yeah. Harris Teeter, Walmart, you know.
So what was it up north? What was your grocery store of choice up there? Jewel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you heard of it?
Never heard of Jewel. I've heard of that Jewel.
No, it's not like that. No. And it's funny because like we'll always joke, like, you know, you're getting old. Like our parents will be like, going down to the Jewel. And it's like, you mean Jewel? Like, why are you calling it the Jewel? Yeah. So
that's crazy. So you and Austin meet at Red Robin. He buys you a milkshake. Yeah. How long before you decided to tie the knot and all that kind of stuff?
So we got engaged my sophomore year of college. So about like 2.5 years in. And I remember like the day he asked me, I was mortified that he like didn't ask my dad because my dad was the kind of dad that would always be like, you're never getting married. Like, I don't know why you date. Like, I'm never going to let you get married.
Yeah.
So when Austin asked me, I had stopped him while he was on his knee, like to make sure that my dad had said yes. Cause like in my mind, I was like, if my dad did not say yes, I'm not saying yes. Cause I can't imagine what's going to happen if I go home with a ring on my finger and he had no idea. So
how respectful of your father you are.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that was like the running joke, but there was like, my dad had like one stipulation. He was like, you can't get married until Elise graduates from college. So we had kind of a long engagement. We were engaged for about 2 years then. So we got married the September after I graduated. So
cool.
Yeah.
So did you go immediately to work for an insurance agency?
Yes. Yep. Okay. So I had, like I said, I had the two internships doing digital marketing in college. I was offered a position at one of the firms, and I said, like, I just wanted to see what else was out there. You know, I didn't say no, not right away, but I wanted to apply for some jobs. And I applied for a job at Liberty Mutual, and I just fell in love with the manager that I interviewed with. And that's where I was straight out of college. And then, like I said, I transferred down here with them, and then I had another opportunity present itself with this independent agency that I'm with now. And I just feel like that's the best way to grow my career in this current season.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So I always think that it's really interesting that insurance companies have the coolest commercials. You got Jake from State Farm, and you got the Geico Gecko, and you got who's the lady with Progressive? Flo from Progressive, and then Liberty's the emu, right? That's cool stuff. And Uncle Emu, all that kind of stuff. I just think it's very interesting. A lot of money spent that way.
Definitely.
So, but here's what I typically think of when I think about that. I think, well, those commercials cost something to make. Yeah. So you're probably paying for some of them. So why not go to an independent agent?
Right.
I'm sorry, I ruined all the Progressive and State Farm, all my friends out there anyway. But anyway, you guys do a great job too.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, you decided to live on this side of Charlotte.
Yep.
Was it because it just seemed cool, or what did you decide to live over here?
Honestly, we have no idea. Like we met with a realtor. Okay. He took us around, and just, we like found a new construction neighborhood, liked a floor plan, and like I said, it was fast. Like it took forever. I feel like for the house to be built, it took like a year, but,
oh, wow. So you looked at it that long?
Oh yeah. Well, so we came down here once. It was actually on our first year, like wedding anniversary. We did a long weekend here. We toured some houses, met with the builder that we decided to go with. And then, we, built out like what we wanted, finishes wise and everything. Went under contract and everything from Chicago, and then 9 months in or so, like that's when they did the pre-drywall walkthrough, and Austin couldn't get off of work, so my dad and I came down and we did that, and then literally the next time we were here was when we were closing on our house.
How about that?
It was fast.
So is your dad a construction guy?
No,
or just a very wise guy that knows what to get house?
I was like, I don't want to go by myself. I don't know what I'm looking at. Some studs. So but so we came, and been good so
That's
far.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't think we'll ever go back.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. I mean, at first, I'm not going to lie, I was miserable. Like, I'm just
what were you miserable and missing?
I'm just such a homebody and like a family girl. So like, even like when Austin and I got married and we had our own apartment, we were constantly back at either my parents' house or his parents' house, just like for dinners.
FaceTiming.
Yes. Yeah. So it was like, it was a big move for me to say, like, I'm moving across the country. At first I think COVID definitely like added an extra element that like wouldn't have normally been there, but it was just like so isolating. Like it was like nothing was open. We couldn't go out to like just restaurants like a normal situation would have been. But so I was pretty sad when we first moved, but now that we have like our support system and friends and everything, it's been good. And I don't think we'd go back. So
would you say one of the reasons that you moved was because you felt like you were handcuffed up there and you wanted some freedom?
No, it wasn't like that. I think if I was handcuffed, I was putting the handcuffs on me because I was the one going back home. But no, I mean, I think that like it was probably what I needed. Just to, because I think sometimes like I always joke like in the presence of my parents, I still feel like a kid. Like I forget that I'm like 26. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And the truth is, you kind of are always your parents. You are still their kid, no matter how old you get.
Yeah.
My mom told me that.
I'm like, I don't have to ask you. Oh, wait. Like
the other day I was at my mom's house and I got something to eat real fast because I was hungry.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there. She said, "Ray, you're eating too fast." I was like, "Mom, I'm hungry." You know, I just typically eat this fast anyway. That's cool. So what was the deciding factor? You ultimately decided to pull the trigger and come down here. Do you remember the tipping point where you moved from just considering it to doing it?
I would say that was all Austin. He's like, I feel like if it were me, I would have just talked about it forever and still be sitting in Illinois. But yeah, it was like a good region for Discount Tire, like here.
Good.
So there was opportunity for growth for him in his career. And like I said, like the weather and everything, just like once you've lived 20 something Chicago winters.
Yeah.
You want out. It's fun to visit, but not fun to live in. And I was very stern on like still wanting somewhere that had like 4 seasons. I can't imagine being in like a Florida or something where it's hot all the time. I think that would be weird just considering like what we were used to growing up. So that was like my little tidbit that I threw. And I was like, I don't want it to be all hot or all cold 24/7. So
if you describe Chicago, so what are the seasons in Chicago and when are they? Like when does cold start? So
cold starts probably like October.
Okay.
And then it gets real cold like November, and that's all the way through like April, it feels like. And then you have like the shortest spring, and then it gets super hot. Like right now it's probably about the same.
Wow.
Here as it is there temperature wise.
So a tiny little spring and then a big hot. Yeah.
Big hot summer and freezing cold winter.
So what's your favorite time of the year in Chicago?
Fall.
Okay.
Definitely.
And fall is like September or October?
Yes. Yeah. September can be pretty hot there still. Sometimes it depends. Like sometimes you'll get like a true good fall September. Other times it's a lingering summer in September. So
she loves Chicago, everybody. But if you're planning a trip to Chicago, go in the fall and it's like late September, October, and it's cold by Halloween, right?
Yes. Avoid the snow.
Cool. So what's your favorite season down here?
I think still probably fall. Like I think I'm looking forward to it. Like I love summer. Like don't get me wrong. I love being able to eat outside, grill out. But yeah, I think fall is just like my favorite, like bonfire season.
And it's just a little cool at night.
Yes.
Absolutely. Air conditioning bills go down.
Yep.
That's good stuff. I think one of the best kept secrets around here is that when the leaves finally do turn, you don't have to drive to the mountains to see beautiful leaves. Like Crowder's Mountain, there's areas around Crowder's Mountain, they're really pretty, and Kings Mountain. And it's just kind of like you are in the mountains and you can be home at night. So if you're out there, you want a tip of how to spend the fall without having to go to the mountains all the time.
Yeah.
But anyways, so let me move to that. Let's talk about some of your preferences and your choices as far as that's concerned. So if I was to say mountains versus beaches, my wife would always say mountains. What would you say, mountains versus beaches?
I think I would say beach.
Okay. Northern beaches or southern beaches? So there's really not a northern beach unless you're talking about around Lake Michigan, right?
Yeah. I would southern, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, good. So
I just don't want to live there.
Okay, I understand.
Beach is vacation. Yeah.
Good deal. I love the sand here. It's kind of like white and very fine and all that kind of stuff. So night or day? Are you a night person or a day person?
Day person, I would say.
That means you're up with the chickens up early?
Not necessarily. I'm a day person. Emphasis on the day. I don't want to get up early, but I don't want to stay up late. Okay. So yeah, if I would say like a Saturday is perfect if I'm up by like 8 and then still in bed by 10. That's ideal.
So cake for dessert or ice cream?
Ice cream.
Okay. And your favorite ice cream, is it just chocolate or?
No, I would say like turtle.
Okay. Turtle. Okay. Mix some of that nut stuff in there and caramel. And good deal. So if you have to get cake, what kind of cake do you like?
I would say carrot cake.
Carrot cake. Oh, good deal.
Yeah.
Good choice. I like that too. I have never made cake or ice cream that I did not like.
Yeah.
Although Sunday after the group season signed up, we started that this week. Troy Campbell, one of our elders, came up to me with a pickle
cake
popsicle stick. I was like, man, I am not eating that, Jack.
No.
Forget all that. I wanted to be sweet if I
love pickles, but I don't know if a pickle popsicle is
really. I got cookies and cream, so they refroze what you didn't eat. Anyway, I'm just kidding. Vacationing in America or vacationing somewhere else?
I mean, I would love like, it's always been a dream of mine to go to Paris. So I would say somewhere else, but I haven't been outside of America other than for my honeymoon where we went to the Bahamas. So
cool. So Austin, you heard that out there. Paris, it needs to be in your future.
Yeah.
That's cool. He's heard about it, right? This is not a big secret.
Knows. Nope.
That's cool. Car or minivan?
Car.
Okay. Foreign or domestic?
Oof. I mean,
foreign.
If I'm dreaming big, foreign. Yeah.
Okay. And if you're dreaming big and it's foreign, what would it be?
An Audi.
An Audi. Okay. Yeah. Good deal.
Yep.
The little circles in the front, that kind of stuff. Nice. Fantastic. So, have you guys talked about family and that kind of stuff? Do you want to have children maybe one day?
Definitely. We would love to have a family. We're just trying to trust God's timing.
Decide when. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yep.
You have a number of children you have in mind or anything like that?
I feel like I say 2, but it's like, I don't know if I'm going to want to once I have the one. I'm like scared to see.
You'll do fine.
Especially, I mean, if family moved, I think that would, then I would go crazy. I mean, if I had a support system here and babysitters.
Right. That is hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
Particularly, it's nicer to have moms and dads close by.
Yes, definitely.
Now, they could always move down here, right?
Exactly. They need to.
Time for y'all to retire. Move south. The weather's great.
Literally.
Right? That's cool. So do you have any kind of precursors to children? Do you have dogs or cats?
We have a dog. We have a dog named Wrigley. He's my baby right now.
Just like Wrigley Field.
Yes, exactly.
How cool is that? Are you a Cubs fan?
Yes.
Good deal. So is Mike Howard. You need to find Mike Howard. He's a big Cubs fan. He's from Iowa, actually, our business manager.
Yeah.
That's cool. Have you been to Cubs games?
Uh-huh.
How cool is that? I love watching it. Right?
Yeah.
They're still one of the fields that doesn't have lights yet, right?
We have lights, but it's an old stadium. So
That's cool. I've been outside it, but I've never been inside of it for a game. Love to go sometime. So your dog's Wrigley. What kind of dog is he?
He's a golden retriever.
Oh, good deal.
Yeah, he's a ball of energy.
Okay. How old is he?
He's 7. He just turned 7 in August. So, but yeah, he still acts like he's 1. So I don't know when he's ever going to settle down.
Have you ever had cats?
No, never had a cat.
Good deal. So our first child before we had had the cat first, and then we had dogs after that too. But it's great to get to know you and that kind of stuff. I wanted to ask you before we conclude, is there any kind of special life lesson that you've learned spiritually, or a verse that's a favorite verse of yours or anything like that? That you don't feel, you don't have to quote chapter and verse, maybe just a thought even. Yeah,
well, I would say like my favorite verse is, I think it's a summary of the verse, but it's Philippians 1:6, and it's basically like, God didn't bring you this far to leave you. And like another way I say that to myself, and I constantly say it to like my girls and kids Point and everything, like whenever I'm facing a hard situation, like God gives his toughest battles to his strongest warriors. So just like a way of like reminding myself, like he doesn't give me anything I can't handle, like, and I'm not having to handle it alone. So just knowing like if the season's hard, it's because it's not finished. Like this isn't the end. So
I'm just so grateful that you're willing to serve with that age group and make a difference in their lives. And I'm glad that's part of your mission, that God's begun that work in you and he's going to complete it. And we're just, it's great to get to know you. And I know the folks, you might get some folks randomly come up to you at church and say, hey, I saw you on the podcast and I like Wrigley Field too. And we have a golden retriever, but that's what this is all about. Just so our church can have the opportunity to do that. So thank you for doing us the favor of coming and sharing your life with us. And maybe we'll get Austin with us next time.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's edition number 21 of the Next Step podcast, where we got legal with Elise Nelson. Thank you so much. And thanks, Austin, for sharing her. And Wrigley out there as well, too. We'll see you next time.